remains a 7-point game with 6:48 to play. We've got a timeout on the floor taken by Hardin Valley's Coach Galloway. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to the Fox and Farley Full Court Press.
Resetting your password. Unsubscribe.
Welcome to Between the Lines. It's, what's the date now? We're up to February 10th, right, guys? Okay, February 10th, and we're going to do volunteer fire departments tonight. We're going to talk about them. They're very important in Anderson County. I'm not getting paid by Coke, but we're going to talk to the Medford Volunteer Fire Department, and we're going to talk to the Claxton Volunteer Fire Department and see exactly some of the things they do and how important they are. You have to understand, Oak Ridge has a fire department, Clinton has a fire department, even Lake City has a fire department. We'll talk about that, obviously. But there are rural areas around all of those communities that are serviced by volunteer fire departments. And a lot of you that live in the cities don't understand how they operate and how much they need our help to get things done to make sure we get there. So we've got Karen's here. Introduce yourself, Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Schubert, Medford Volunteer Fire Department.
She's been there since, how long? Eisenhower?
There's 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, we've been joking about that. I'm a little bit more veteran, but not much. You've done so much. She was talking about how the chili suppers went from 300 to 500 to 1,500 and on up. It's been exciting. We want to thank Roger Miller, Judge Miller. We want to thank Judge Spitzer and Victoria Bowley, who's active up in the north end of the county where you guys are, that all of them have helped sponsor it so we can have these interviews and talk on these shows, and I appreciate all three of them. How many volunteer fire departments are there in Anderson County?
There are 6 counting Oliver Springs.
Wow, and I never remember Oliver Springs. And you go down Tri-County, and it's the building right there on the right. Mm-hmm. Right, okay, got it. It goes back in the neighborhood. Yeah. And they serve just rural Anderson, or do they serve rural?
We can be called out to other counties.
I figured
but we pretty much cover
your districts, yes, in your areas. Well, Oliver Springs got that tri-city thing. You know, you go 1 mile one way, you're in a different county. Right. You can be in Morgan or Roane or whatever. Right. So let's go over them. So we have Briceville, mm-hmm, that services basically Briceville and New River. They don't get down into your area where there's...
They come on down to Beech Grove area, close to Lake City limits, yeah.
I ran water, when I was a grade director, we ran water at Val Mountain. Right. Who would cover Val Mountain?
Briceville.
Wow, that's pretty close to Lake City. So everything on that side of Lake City is covered by Briceville?
Yes.
And everything on the bigger, larger rural areas. How far to Clinton do you go?
We go all the way down to, Marlowe's jurisdiction down over the hill. We have Carroll Holler.
Okay.
On down over there.
Sure.
We go all the way to Norris Dam.
Okay.
We go to Lake City, to the Carrollville city limits. Where Lake City limits stop, we're on the other side of that. We cover 50 square miles.
And you know, it's funny, when you go to Lake City, you go to see somebody and say, where do you live? It's either Isabel's stuff or the Medford Volunteer Fire Department. No, it's further. It's past Medford Volunteer Fire Department on the right. You're still in the same buildings you've always been? I haven't been up there in a long time.
Yeah, we've done a lot of renovation.
We hadn't done chili supper in 3 years, haven't we?
That was 2.
You did in 20?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Just before they shut us down.
Yeah, interesting. So, how were you impacted by COVID? How did COVID impact?
It's made it really hard. In the beginning, it was really hard to get supplies. People in the community actually donated the masks and stuff because EMS couldn't even get them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been really tough, but this community pulls together.
Yeah.
We stick together. We help each other.
Okay. Water was fine. You had the equipment, mm-hmm, but you needed masks.
We needed masks. We needed hand sanitizer.
Okay, all kinds of
stuff.
Mm-hmm. Stuff that was short everywhere.
Yes, everywhere.
I remember I got a box of N95s for $9.95 at Home Depot. I went back 2 weeks later and they were $45. So
yeah, you just can't.
It got out of control quick.
A lot of it. We've had, like I said, I own a little beauty shop, and people come in there, supplied us with the stuff that we needed.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
How many homes does Medford Volunteer Fire Department serve?
Betty, I'd say probably close to 5,000.
Wow.
If I'm guessing, I may be wrong, but years ago
But
it was like
it's
42,
not 600. It's
4,300.
closer to 5,000.
It's in the thousands.
Yeah, 45,000. And do people buy subscription memberships? Do they help you?
No.
So they're all,
It's all
because I
donated.
know that they tried to do that a few years ago in Andersonville, and it kind of fell apart, in that kind of sense. So basically, you rely on a couple of three things, the best of my grant knowledge. You do have some funding from the county.
Yes, we do.
I think when I left 12, 15 years ago, it was 15,000 each one, or 8 or something. How much do you
Well,
get from the county now?
I'll have to look it up here.
Are all the same? All 6 get the same amount, right?
Should all get the same.
Okay.
She didn't put it on
That's
here, so
okay,
I really don't
roughly.
know.
But you get a stipend from the
I'm
county.
thinking around 20.
20,000, 15,
Somewhere in
20,000.
there.
All right, so that's part of your budget. And then you have the chili supper. And I would say this with all respect to Claxton, who'll be on here in the second half of the show. I think they have the best chili supper Medford does in the church up there. The Bates family, everybody gets involved up there and does a wonderful job. And I just can't say enough about the Bateses. They're just great people.
Hey, they're helping me again this year, too.
Yeah. And I always, when I went up
I
there
love
back in
them.
the old days in 10 or 4, I knew them all, but the one that I had most fun with a kid at that time, 10 or 8 or 10, we go up to the house, and she finally got married. I think it's Kelly. I don't remember which one it is.
Yeah.
So I was laughing about that. I told Zach, I don't see Zach as much as I used to. But they got a nice business in Lake City, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, the girls are
It's
doing
up and
great.
coming.
Yeah, they're trying hard.
They are. Good, honest folks.
Yeah, they got customers all over the country. They're very
Yep.
well known. But we wish them the best of luck. And they're still active in the volunteer fire department?
They're not with us now, but yes, if we need them, they're right there.
And they're helping you with the chili supper or something?
Yes, she's helping me get this stuff together and actually going to help us serve this year.
They're such good people.
Set
And
up.
tell me about Tim Isabel. Always been active. He's a close friend of mine, good friend.
Tim is he's a rock.
If you need him, he's there.
He's always there.
Yeah, Tim Isabel's very important to that community. And,
Yes,
and
he
does
is.
a great job up there.
He sure does.
So we got all of this going. We're getting money from the county. The chili supper's important.
Mm-hmm.
How else do you raise revenue?
We do, we set up a roadblock on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
we do that, and then we
That's
do...
more profitable than people
No, around the 4th, and then we do the 4th of July event at the ball field in Lake City.
think. I mean, that's a crowded place.
Yeah, and then we have a letter drive. And
And what kind of drive?
A letter drive where we
Okay,
send out a letter.
letters
Mhm.
once a year?
Yep, and then we do the address markers.
Okay.
It's a $15 donation, and you can get the reflective markers, and they really make a difference trying to find people. It can mean all the difference between life and death.
So what kind of equipment do you have in there?
We have 5 trucks.
5 trucks, okay.
Yep, EMS truck.
Now let me stop.
Okay.
The county donates a truck, and they alternate every year.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I remember
Yes,
that
we
part.
got ours. We've got, I have to look at it here, 760. I'm not even sure if it's running right now, but we have a tank, 3 tankers and 3 engine bumpers. Yep.
Which to us in the public means very little, but they're different sizes.
They're different sizes. Yeah, we have 5.
So if I call
6 total.
you and my kitchen's on fire and I live 5 miles down towards Clinton or wherever in the country, rural side, not to Marlow, but in your side,
Right.
what truck do you send?
I'd probably send 764.
That's a big one?
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's new.
Okay. And the 5 you have are just basically accumulated over time?
Yes.
What's your newest one?
The newest one would be, he's a new tanker. We just got him from the county.
Notice the personalization of everything. Him, her. Those tankers
Yeah.
are very valuable to you all, and you're very close to
They
them.
are. They're life and death.
Oh, yeah. How many fires would you do in a given year? How many? Now, let me answer that. That's not good. How many calls or how many responses do y'all go?
This past year, we've had 265 calls. Most of our calls are EMS.
Okay.
This time of year, it is brush fires. We have a lot of brush
So
fires.
that's
in the wintertime.
that's 2 out of 3 days, basically. That's 2 out of 3 days, or 4 or 5 days a week you're going to something.
Yes.
EMS calls or something in the rural areas. What do you do for EMS? How do you do an EMS call? You
We
beat the
are,
ambulance?
we're actually first on scene.
You're the first responder.
Yeah, we usually beat the ambulance. We go in and try to get everybody taken care of and ready to go and get all the
Stabilized.
information and their meds and everything.
Do you have anybody
for
on
EMS.
board that's certified to do some of that stuff in your
Oh,
team?
yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah,
And
we're,
they can resuscitate people or do what they have to do.
Yeah, we have a class. It's emergency medical response class.
That's right.
That we
that's
take
right.
responder.
Fantastic, fantastic. So
We
you're
have
making
them.
these calls, and you're doing this because I've seen the testimonies. They're wonderful. You've helped a lot of people up there. So let's talk about the region. We go from the border of we get into Lake City. You come up to the edge of Lake City. If you're coming from Clinton, you come up to the edge because you got Briceville on the other side, and the Lake City Fire Department here. You wrap around? Is that what you
We
do?
go straight on through town. We're above town, like where Kentucky Fried Chicken is up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Well,
the way
where the
behind
Beaches
that.
family,
We're
Gil
up
is,
there
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yep.
They would call. Lake City wouldn't respond to that.
No,
you
we
guys
do.
would respond.
And then we also have the interstate section there too,
Wow.
in between.
You know, it's interesting. You got new state representatives coming up. They transferred your district. Now you're in John Mark Wendell's district out of Middle Tennessee and Morgan and Fentress. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, yeah.
It seems like your district always gets tossed around and the rest of it doesn't. So it's kind of, I don't know. I got on the show last week and I dealt with Mr. Foster, and we talked Lake City manager, and it was so funny because there was like an uproar because I get referred to Lake City, you know.
Yeah.
But the other Lake City people liked it and they commented and told me, I said, that's good. But I was trying to tie the history together. You can't talk about Rocky Top without talking about Lake City. I was talking about the basketball teams in the 50s and different things, et cetera, et cetera. But
We're all one.
that's right.
We're all one.
It's only a name, isn't it?
It's only a name.
That's exactly right.
We got each other's backs. We
So
help
you
each
got
other.
you got your equipment going. You're making 264 calls a year. How many volunteer firefighters do we have? Tell me about this.
Right now, we're low. We're at 21 volunteers.
What's normal?
We've had as much as 40 or 50
Wow.
over the years. But
Okay,
it's
so
just-
I come. Let's pretend I'm younger. I get there and I want to fight fires, and I'm 42 years old, got a couple kids. I live in a rural area. I come to you and say, how do I help? What do I do?
Well, you'll sign up. You'll be on 90-day probation. They do a background check. You have your NIMS you'll have to get, your 16-hour, your 64. Anything you need to get to where, how high you want to go, it's there. It's available.
So basically, I would have a fire uniform. You would issue me
Yeah, gear.
I'm sorry, all the gear.
The gear,
I wouldn't have to bring my own gear with me.
No.
You would set us up and train us. What's the age range in your firefighters?
Our youngest is 18, and we have had a junior firefighter program, but it's kind of dwindled down since
Sure.
COVID come in. But a lot of them, like my age and older, 50s, 60s. Yeah.
There's still hope for me. See, I may volunteer and train. Being in my 60s.
I'm waiting on you.
I guess I'd have to go. If I had to do something like that, I'd have to go down to Marlow, I guess. I'm
They're
right
good.
up there.
Stephen's
They got a big
good.
one too, don't they? I know
do.
Lieutenant Governor McNally has always been partial down there and knows a lot of those folks. And he's done good to bring grants back for us and
Hey,
do a
yeah.
different thing here, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so you got all this stuff. You got these firefighters. Is there other things that people do to volunteer besides fighting fires?
There's tons of things people could
Let's
do
go
to
over that
volunteer.
list. Let's go over
They can come in for fundraising.
Fundraising's good. Volunteer.
If they can't really get out there and do anything, they can be like safety. They can bring in, set up water. I mean, when we have these house fires, people come in and bring water. We usually try to carry it on the tankers, but people want to be needed. People love to be needed.
And you don't realize, but when there's a house fire, people lose those. They lose their food. They can't get
lose
in
it
there.
all.
They need stuff, don't they? Yeah.
They do.
All right, we're going to take a break in a minute, and we're going to come back and talk about a few other things about general firefighting and what's going on and everything. And I think I think it's interesting. The county, does Lake City do anything for you? The city? I don't mean work, but I mean, do they support you? Are they supportive of you?
We do classes together. I mean,
Okay.
we're all one big unity. We all help each other.
You ever have a call where both of you end up at the call?
Yes,
Okay, that's good.
sure do.
Inside the city limits?
Yeah, we'll help them.
Yeah.
And they'll come help us if we need
Is it
them.
big enough? Okay, when we come back, I want to talk about the insides of that building, because the building is a long building, runs
It's
very
long.
well. And how many vehicles can you park inside?
Oh, gosh. Well, right now we've got 6 in there.
How deep is it? I guess it doesn't look as big from the front, but when you think about how deep
When
it
you
is
walk
cutting
through
back-
it, it's, if I'm guessing, 40 feet,
Wow.
60 feet, 40 feet.
And how long's the vehicle?
A vehicle, what are they, about 40?
Okay, but you can get them in there straight ahead. Back them out straight ahead.
And leave
You
room
back them in
behind-
though, don't you? So you can
Yes,
pull
go straight out.
Yeah, that's what fire departments do. Hey, we're going to take a 2 or 3 minute break, and we'll be back to talk more about volunteer fire departments and how you can help.
Roger Miller is a conservative and lifetime resident of Anderson County who has served as Sessions Judge since 2014. Judge Miller has adjudicated more than 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal, over the past 7 years. Roger is a graduate of Clinton High School, and he volunteers time coaching youth sports and serving as an instructor. A paramedic for 12 years, Roger worked saving lives at the Anderson County EMS, MedFlight 5, and Methodist Medical Center. In 2022, let's re-elect Roger Miller, General Sessions Judge.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
D-E-P-R.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale.
Bipolar?
Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment.
Anxiety.
I thought so.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
Ryan Spitzer has been a prosecutor in Anderson County since 2007, prosecuting more than 2,500 cases over the past decade. Ryan has been the Drug Task Force prosecutor for the past 7 years. Ryan donates time working with local nonprofits. A veteran, Ryan spent 6 years serving his country as an Army medic in the National Guard. Ryan is a family man who works hard every day to keep Anderson County families safe. Experience matters.
Welcome back. We're talking to Karen, and we're talking about the Medford Volunteer Fire Department. They've got a big chili supper coming up. What's the name of that church?
Clinch River Baptist Church.
That's right off the main drag down to the left. We've been, my wife and I have been probably 7 or 8 times. It's just, it's a wonderful event, and they really need help. I mean, COVID is shortening everything. How many people in your entire volunteer staff got COVID? A lot of them?
That I know of for sure, at least 4 or 5.
Yeah, it was hard not to in that situation. So on March 5th, which is today's the 10th, so that's going to give us 3 weeks plus a couple of days. You're going to have an event at the church, and you're going to have your chili supper. You'll have some things. I know there's always some gospel singing here usually.
We have live entertainment. Yes, we do. We have a live auction.
Yeah.
And for $5. $5 donation, all you can eat all night long.
It's great.
And we try to give door
you may
prizes.
stand in line a while.
Yeah, sometimes they wrap around the church.
Yeah, they wrap around, but it's always moves pretty good, et cetera, et cetera. But if you live in the rural area, even if you don't, you need to get up here. It's easy access off of the main drag. You turn left. What do you turn left? What's that road?
It's Cane Creek Road, 407 Cane Creek Road.
It's the church. 407 Cane Creek Road is where they're going to have it, and they're going to. This thing can generate anywhere from $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 because there's so many people that attend 4,500. It's just a great event, and it's nice of the Baptist Church to participate.
Yes, they stand behind us.
Well, you can never have enough churches, my mama said. But okay, so we've got inside of the building. Tell me about it. The office is on the top side of the building, if I remember right.
Straight through the front door.
Yeah.
Yep, up the steps upstairs.
What is the address? If you drive to Lake City, it's right there on your right.
Yeah, 3250 Lake City Highway.
3250 Lake City Highway. So you get in and there's room, there's thing. How many offices do you have up there?
We have just the one.
So
but directly inside the front door, we have a little office down there that people can sit, and then up the steps is another. Yeah, so two.
So tell me what we need money for the most right now. What kind of things we need?
Well, there's a lot of things we need to keep the place running.
Yeah.
It's like
it's been tough the last year, hasn't it?
It has. It takes total operating expenses are $33,500
a year.
A year.
Wow. So if you get your 15 or 20 from the county, and you get the chili supper, you get a few things, you can get to break even basically.
We about break even. That's
about all any volunteer fire.
And most of us that are volunteers, we pick up the ends.
You know what? Most of the volunteers end up spending their own money on all kinds of stuff.
We all do.
They bring in a case of water. They do this. They do that.
And never say a word.
It's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The longest firefighter's been there how long?
Oh my gosh. They were there when it opened, and I couldn't even tell you when that was, in the 70s. Yeah, there's Joe and Dawn. They've both been there since it opened.
Yeah, I remember going up to Lake City when I was at Oak Ridge High School and going up there and visiting. It was just a different time then. Obviously, it was more rural. But we've always need firefighters, haven't we? You have any trucks left from the old days?
Yeah, there's one sitting out back.
Well, you don't use it, but it's kind of an antique.
Yeah, it's kind of family.
Tell me, that's right. You hate to do that. Tell me the order of the management personnel. You have a captain, and then you have
You have your chief.
Chief. Okay, who's
captain.
your chief?
Chief is Joe Lamb.
Who?
Joe Lamb. Joe has passed away.
Joe
He is
Lamb
one.
was
Joe
the chief.
Lamb was one of the founders. Yes.
Yes.
Joe Gillum
Joe Gillum
is
is
chief.
Okay.
And then coming on down, you've got, like I said, I ain't been down there in a little while. Brandy.
What are the offices more than the people? Just what are the
Okay, you
offices?
just got your chief, your captain, your lieutenants, your EMR officer, which is your emergency medical responder, and Nathan. Nathan is that, and Nathan, I think, maybe. I don't think they really look at that much anymore. Everybody's just about equal.
Really? Mm-hmm. But you got it's not so much of an authority thing as it is a responsibility thing.
Responsibility and
Each person's got a
respect,
different
yes.
kind of responsibility to get things rolling. When the truck rolls out, how many people are on the truck?
Nowadays, 2 or 3.
That's it. Normally there would have been 5 or 6.
Yeah, if not more.
If not
Mike Sieber's your assistant chief.
Mike Severs is Do any regular fire people that work for Clinton or Lake City or other place, do they work at the volunteer fire volunteer?
That's usually
thing?
where they start out at,
Is that right? Mm-hmm. We start out with you or with them?
with being a volunteer.
Okay.
You can get most of your
Yeah,
training.
and then you get your training and move on. What about if somebody who was with the city of Clinton and they live in a rural area and they went to Oak Ridge Fire and they go out to Y-12 where the money is and they make some money out there, but they still live in your area? Do they get,
We have one of those there.
I mean, but you have people that come down and help you in different things that have that expertise. Who does the training?
Different departments. Different departments do it. Clinton City does it. Lake City does it. They just offer it. The county will offer it. Just whatever and wherever. We hunt it and go.
Interesting. UT, do you do anything with the universities or the CTAS group? Or okay, that makes sense. What else can you tell us? What are the fun? If you want to make a donation to any of these volunteer fire departments, what's the address?
It's 3250 Lake City Highway.
3250 Lake City Highway. And if you have
Rocky
any
Top.
questions or you want to get involved or any of that,
We meet every Thursday night, 7 p.m.
at the
fire department.
Thursday night, 7 p.m. And what's your phone number at the place?
They'd have to leave a message there. There's no one there to answer.
That's
but
okay.
It's 865-426-2621.
2621 at 426 Lake City Exchange, 2621.
Yes.
If you have any questions or want to do anything and get stuff like that. How expensive is insurance?
Insurance, oh, I've got that right here.
She's ready.
Yeah, $9,979 and down to the penny, 57 cents
A year.
a year.
So we got 10 grand a year for insurance. You got the budget there? Tell us about it. Start at the top.
Your fuel,
Fuel?
it's fuel for the year, and a lot of people probably buy this out of pocket besides this, $1,050.14.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Insurance, again, $9,979.67. Your phone and internet's right at $3,000 with $2,974.
Now, what's the phone? Define what that includes. That's a lot of money.
The telephone,
Yeah.
it's just a telephone.
It's
And
not
your
much.
internet.
And internet, okay.
Yep, we have to
internet
have
would
it.
be 1,000 or 1,200 a year.
I don't know why that's
My
that
home
much.
internet is wireless is like $82 AT&T, and then you would have.
Yep,
I don't
phone
have a
and internet.
landline. I obviously use the cell phones, but
Yep, it's $2,974.
Wow.
The engine payment's $11,911
now that's a
a year.
finance payment, $1,000 a month basically for an engine.
Yep, your utilities are $2,500 plus.
That makes sense. 200.
Fundraising supplies and the letter drive, postage for letters, reflective markers,
Does that
$1,899.
drive go to people that would be part of the 5,000?
Goes to everyone in the community in our jurisdiction.
in your jurisdiction. You wouldn't send it to downtown Quinton because
Nope.
people that are served by you
Yes.
get a chance to respond.
Yes.
Okay.
The IRS form, $990 fees was $920. Your CPA for filing, $990. For your 501c3 was $575. Repairs to equipment and vehicles was $1,077, but we're lucky because we have mechanics that are there.
Yeah, sure.
And they help take care of it. Your active 911 paging system for your first responders is $325 a year.
That's not bad.
And then Sam's membership and supplies for the department, $266 total of.
I think that'd be free, wouldn't it?
You'd think $33,541.47.
33,000. This is annually to keep that volunteer fire department. What is it?
Running, yeah.
Okay.
Medford Fire.
I got it.
And we do, a lot of us donate the, just the necessities we have there to try to hold down them costs.
Wow.
in the community,
And I'll
doesn't it?
bet you, just guessing, because I know I've been around organizations like that, there's probably several $1,000s that people put in. Food, just different things.
Donate
Fill the tank
water.
up,
Yep.
do this. That's because they got to keep it running. How much, last year, you raised this much money in 18, this much money in 19, and 20 things got tough, right? 20
things got 21. We were canceled twice in 21. And yeah, that was a big loss.
Let's talk about 501c3s. Everything you give to the Medford Volunteer Fire Department, they are now recertified 501c3 with the federal government. That was the $900 and the $500. So you can, if you make a donation, it's tax deductible.
It is tax deductible.
So that's an important thing, because I do a lot of fundraising for nonprofit groups. It's hard to get the big players in without it.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean,
It's
you got a
hard just to
chili
even
supper,
get
it doesn't matter.
donations
Yeah.
at facilities or anything without
You know,
your
most of your
501.
donations small.
Yes. Here's how this chili supper works.
Okay.
We take in about 1,200 hot dogs. I might call 20 people to ask them to donate just so much for so many. We don't
1,200
throw.
hot dogs, take in, that's something you serve at the event?
Yes. Yes. Everything we get is donated.
And do you have two kinds of chili?
We have 2 or 3.
Yeah, because I
It can
remember
be
always,
hot,
I
yeah.
have a unique taste, you know. I don't like beans as much as I do meat. And
Yes.
So it's
The
different.
people pull together and we do this.
Yeah, that's a big event, too. With all due respect to
It was-
everybody else, that's a huge event. I mean, there's people coming out of the woodworking up there.
Oh, they come from all over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just,
Yes.
it's really big.
It
It's a
is.
big social event, because unlike a lot of others where you just have somebody, you got music, you got auctions. It's wild. That's a great time. Hopefully this year you can get some of your budget back together.
Yes, it's been
And
tough.
work it, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So I get the visual. Everybody gets the visual. You got a budget of $33,000. You've been handicapped by COVID and raising money. Now we're getting back on the
Back on
the strip, and we're getting back out there, and we're going to do some things. Hopefully raise that $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 or whatever we can raise at the chili supper. Anderson County's money's good. Did stimulus help you at all? Did you get any extra equipment or any money from the federal government or anybody?
If we did, I know anything about it.
Yeah, well, that goes through the county government. So maybe it's a good year to up their donation. My county commissioner friends who I help all the time, but that might be a good time to give everybody a supplement, like $5,000 extra for every department. You know, I think that would be a good thing to do.
It would.
Okay, and Medford especially, because Medford, you know, there's no real upper class district in Medford,
No.
I mean, it's working people that'll get out and doing stuff, and no big subdivisions that really support you and a lot of money and different things.
It's
So
just a bunch of good folks in their
there
community.
are a lot of good folks, aren't there?
Yes, they are.
Well, we're going to try to get out to that March 5th at the Baptist Church, right off to the left of the main drag.
Behind Sammy's Market.
Behind Sammy's Market. Just turn down that hill and go. You'll see it up on the hill. And let's get out and support Medford. Let's get some things done. And I appreciate that. And we'll see what else is going on with the other ones. But Medford's a big one, and it's a challenge. And I'm glad to see you got your 501c3 back, and you've got all this
Yes.
working. You're very organized. I like that.
Try to be.
You did a great job.
Thank
Where
you so much.
Where do you live in the mix? What area of the?
I live around Ross Cemetery.
Okay. I
Down
don't know
close
where
to
that
the
is.
Clinch River, just right down from the fire department, about
Okay.
3 miles.
Oh, that's great. So you've been in this district for a long time.
Lived here all my life.
Yeah.
And I could
It's a
give.
good place to live, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. They saved my mother's life years ago.
Did they?
And I can give them the rest of my life and never
I think you posted
give
that
back.
somewhere on your Facebook
Yes,
or
what they
something,
gave to
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And the training to know how
Wow.
to take care of it.
Well, God bless. I hope everything works out. We're going to take a break, and here comes Claxton. Shannon Wandale's home district. Here we go.
Ryan Spitzer has been a prosecutor in Anderson County since 2007, prosecuting more than 2,500 cases over the past decade. Ryan has been the Drug Task Force prosecutor for the past 7 years. Ryan donates time working with local nonprofits. A veteran, Ryan spent 6 years serving his country as an Army medic in the National Guard. Ryan is a family man who works hard every day to keep Anderson County families safe. Experience matters.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
For
produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
This is my husband, Alex Hesse. Alex was about 2 weeks away from coming home.
I was point man in foot patrol, and I stopped on the bomb. Lost my legs and my left hand in an explosion.
And he suffered a severe traumatic brain injury.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
There are so many mountains to climb, and we do it together.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
Come on, Alex, take on this mountain. That's what this is all about.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Alex has conquered this mountain. That's something he won't forget.
With the right support, there are no limits.
Look at that smile! You did it!
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
This has meant so much.
Thank you, DAV.
Alex Hussey, thank you for your service. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Roger Miller is a conservative and lifetime resident of Anderson County who has served as Sessions Judge since 2014. Judge Miller has adjudicated more than 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal, over the past 7 years. Roger is a graduate of Clinton High School, and he volunteers time coaching youth sports and serving as an instructor. A paramedic for 12 years, Roger worked saving lives at the Anderson County EMS, MedFlight 5, and Methodist Medical Center. In 2022, let's re-elect Roger Miller, General Sessions Judge.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I
That's right, with an E. Welcome back. We're moving from Medford down to Quinton, turning left over the bridge, and we're in Claxton now. We're with the Claxton Volunteer Fire Department. We have gone from the weeds to the roses, haven't we? Krista's with us today, and she's an actual firefighter. Karen was a volunteer, been a volunteer for 20 years, done wonderful services, helps manage. But Krista, and if you have any Home Depot complaints, Krista works at Home Depot in loss control. So, and if you don't know what that is from an accounting viewpoint, she has to figure out why certain things don't add up and do what they're supposed to do, right?
Yep.
You can't figure out why you're losing money in a certain area because of packaging or whatever, right? How long have you been with Home Depot?
Only about 5 years.
Good company?
Yes.
Well, what are you going to say? No? I mean, that's easy. The benefits are good, everything's great? Okay.
Yes.
I like them in Oak Ridge. When they came here, I mean, I go there all the time for, if I want to buy bulk in anything, I just walk in, boom, bang, and out. I don't go to Food City or somewhere like toilet paper or
yeah.
that. Home Depot carries some pretty good deals, but they carry good product quality. But we're not here talking about Home Depot, right? Is it a conflict of interest if Home Depot catches on fire and you go out there?
No, but it's kind of like KFD's area, so.
Tell me, I got a lot to ask about that. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Wandale family, and Tracy has done so much for that community, Optimist Club.
Yes.
He has fought, he's vocal. Very few commissioners work any harder than Tracy Wandale does. And he gets his orders from Shannon every morning. She writes them down, right? But he gets some relief from them. But Shannon's sharp too. They care about Claxton.
Shannon is the best.
But see, she took up for Shannon. Tracy didn't say nothing about you. Just went straight to
Tracy's a sweetheart, but Shannon, she's like the backbone to us when it comes down to it. She's the chairman of our board.
She's like my wife, thinking of,
yeah.
I mean, it's got that. She comes. Is she Briceville? I think she's Briceville because my wife's New River. Anyway, they come from the mountains somewhere, and they share the same philosophies, but they really care about the volunteer. Here's what I remember when I worked in grants and everything, is that Claxton, who has no chili supper, and Marlowe are the two biggest ones. Is that still true?
Sure.
Yes. You're a firefighter. So who's the head of the Marlowe Volunteer Fire Department now?
The chief?
Not Marlowe. Chief of Claxton. I'm sorry.
Dusty Sharpe.
Dusty Sharpe. I don't know Dusty. And who would be the next? Who are some of the people that you work with?
The deputy.
You're a captain, so you're
yes.
Yeah, all right. What does that mean? Second in command?
I'm actually third. We have a deputy chief that falls underneath.
And who's the deputy chief?
Jim Collipus.
Okay, that name's familiar. He's been there a while.
Yes,
okay.
Him and Dusty have both been there for about 20 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's within my time frame. Yeah. And you grew up in this area?
No.
Okay, now we're gonna get the story, folks.
I'm actually from Florida.
Where?
Jacksonville.
You know, I remember I went down there a few times in the 70s when I was in high school and college. It was the largest city in America by geographical standards. The city limits, if you measure Jacksonville, it was the biggest city in America in 1977. So I don't know if that's relevant to anything, but it's nice down there. You hate the cold? Did you ever adjust to the cold?
We've lived in Tennessee for quite some time.
So you get your bud, yeah.
Yeah,
I went to
Tennessee's home.
Denver and spent a year, and when I came back here, it was, 60 was like T-shirts, and it's just a different world. Your husband's from there?
No, he's from here.
Okay, so he made you. I got it. I got it. You got kids in Claxton?
I have 3.
Do you live in the fire zone, or do you live in the city?
I live in the fire zone.
Oh,
we
that
live
makes it
like
interesting.
maybe a mile away.
Now, I always understood there were 2 fire departments. I go from Quentin. I get right before I get to Edgemore School. There was a station out there in the old
That's
days.
Station 1. That's our main station.
And then you go down Edgemore and you turn right out there by Jake Butcher's and all that, and you go down to the landfill. There was another station down there.
Yep, that's our
Station 2. I'm working it, folks. What's your budget look like? You don't really have any numbers being a firefighter?
I don't really deal a lot with the...
It's going to be double probably what the smaller ones are, so that's pretty much it. Tell me what kind of activities, and we're going to spend time on fighting fires because that's what you do. But let's start there. What services do you provide to those? How many people are we dealing with? She has 5,000 spread out in large rural
I think
areas.
we're about 3,500 maybe.
Okay, so they're all about the same, really, pretty much. Okay. You got all the big homes, see, so you don't have as much space. I'm just kidding. But that's a long way from Station 1 to Station 2. That's a good 6 or 7 miles. Now, if you go down Wolf Valley, you probably get there a little bit better because I think if I'm not mistaken, East Wolf Valley runs all the way to the station. The landfill's on your right, and you turn left at the dead end.
Yes.
Walk out, and then you get to the station.
Yes.
How do you staff the 2 stations? Which one's the busiest?
We really primarily run out of Station 1 because it's right there on Clinton Highway, which is where you get a lot of your wrecks.
I didn't think about wrecks. I think about fire. Your first responder.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. But Station 1 is just right there in the public, so they can see us with our doors open, training, stuff like that.
Right.
We run out of Station 2, but it's got basically our backup engine. So if we have a working structure fire, one of the guys will break off that lives closer to that and go pick up that truck and just meet us there.
But if somebody in that area, I call it the Jake Butcher area, I'm old, but in any of those homes out, they would get Station 2 service or Station 1 service. Did Station 1 ever make a call?
The way it works in the volunteer world is you could have, say, 20 members on your roster, and you probably only really have about 10 that can actively fight fire or have extrication or anything like that.
Everybody comes when there's a call?
When they're allowed to. You have to go through certain training and meeting the criteria.
Everybody qualified comes to the call?
Yes.
Unless they're working or doing something back. So it's kind of like the movies or something. When the bell goes off or the phone rings, John, we got a call, we're gone. If it's a car wreck, it shouldn't be that many people, right?
It's the same. Most of us are all checked off on the same thing. So even if I'm at my house or, going out to eat or something, if the tones go off, we typically drop whatever we're doing and we go to that. Whether it could be
Do you
EMS.
get the information on the call? Does it say where to go? Or
Yes.
does it say to come to the house?
Everything comes through active 911 system. It's on your phone.
So if it's a Clinton Highway call at the very end of the county border out there, somewhere out there, and you were eating at pick a place, I don't care, Mexican restaurant in Clinton, would you go to the station first or would you go to the wreck?
It depends. You listen to the traffic and see kind of who's responding where. I carry a medical bag with me, so I'm pretty much always prepared. If I have to pass the scene to go get a truck, typically, as long as I've got somebody else coming, I'll stop at the scene.
That makes sense.
And just be in POV and provide medical care or whatever until we get a truck there.
She said 245 calls in a year. What do y'all pull?
I'd say about that.
You ever have a day you don't have a call?
Not really.
So that's 365, see.
Medical is the strongest right now. Overdoses has went up.
Boy, you think?
Probably twice the much since COVID.
So somebody in the rural area calls and says, my wife is overdosed, you go to that house. So you're a first responder in that sense. You train for first responders, too?
Yes.
Equal training to what an ambulance driver would have? Not an
it's a
an
step
EMT.
below EMT. We don't poke anything into your skin or nothing like that.
But you can resuscitate them.
Yes.
I mean, vibrate them, mouth them out, whatever it is, right?
Yep. Stick a tube down their throat and whatever needs to be done to.
Right, but you don't inject them and stuff like that unless you absolutely have, unless somebody, That's interesting. So you have 20 people that are qualified to go fight fires? Or
We have about 10 that are fully qualified. Actually, in Anderson County right now, we have fire school coming up, which is being put on with Justin Bailey that is with Oliver Springs. Him and another guy are going to do it from Oak Ridge. So that gives, it won't just be Claxton itself, it'll be Marlow, Medford. All of us come together and we train together, and you do the 64-hour class. Once they graduate that, they get to go to the fire academy. So.
And what's the fire academy? Where's it at?
It's the fire gods.
I get that. But like a police academy, you got to go to Tullahoma, you got to go somewhere.
This is in Bell Buckle, Tennessee.
I know where Bell Buckle is.
Yep. And they actually have police stuff there too.
Week long, usually 4 or 5 days?
Yeah. Ours is a 3-day class. So it's typically Friday, Saturday, and a really long Sunday. But
that's nice they do it on the weekend, though.
It is, because it helps with volunteer work.
Months, it's a different, getting certified is a little bit different.
But they do their live burn there, and then they come back to us.
Time out. We're all peasants. Live burn.
Live burn.
What does that mean?
You get to play with real fire.
Try to put it out and all
It's
that.
controlled.
I understand.
By the towers, but you actually get to take a step into the burning buildings, and they give you scenarios, and you have to graduate through all that. And they'll teach you everything that you learned in the 64-hour class. They want to see you put it to work within 3 days to show what you are capable of doing.
Okay. Let's go back to Florida for a second. So you get out of high school, what gets you to here and fighting fires and stuff? Education?
Unfortunately, I had fires growing up. I've lost my home twice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go that way.
No, you're fine.
All right.
But it's...
That created an interest, didn't it? Yeah.
It's nice to face what I feared as a kid. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't have fear of fire, because I do.
Were you in the house when the fire started?
Yes, one of them I was. One of them I wasn't. Okay. But to see people lose everything they've ever had. We've lost pets.
Yeah, insurance doesn't really matter. I mean, you can start over, but you still lose what you had. Especially you've been in the house 20, 30 years.
Yeah, we've seen some families fall apart over that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Losing animals, that's been a hard thing for some people.
Smoke inhalation for the most part?
Yeah, that's probably one of your number one things that actually gets you before a fire. Luckily, knock on wood, I have never had to recover a burned body or anything like that. So.
And you've been there 5 years?
9.
9. So let's go back to Tennessee. Back to Florida. You graduate from high school. Did you do any other work before you became a firefighter or a loss control person?
I've done loss prevention for about 15 years now.
So that's something you went straight into?
I found it by mistake. I actually worked at Walmart. So I was doing
like a trader or something.
I was doing retail, and I moved up into management and stuff like that, and then I kind of progressed from there. But then
Being a management person in the corporate world, that means you were responsible, and they had somebody showed up for work, and you learned the business, and that's rarer than people think.
This is true.
Home Depot's a little better. They bring a lot of quality people and pay them better, train them better.
They do.
I got a lot of friends that are retired carpenters and stuff that are whatever, and they go over there and they work 20 hours a week or 25 hours a week. They get paid really well. And they do a good job.
I can't complain. I love it.
When I upgraded my house, I had the salesperson out of Knoxville, I can't remember her name, but I bought $25,000 upgrades for my kitchen, and they made it pretty easy. It was a little more expensive. I thought it would be cabinets and different stuff, but it was, it was interesting. So you did that. So outside of loss control, you never did any police work or fire work. Did your husband get you into that?
Actually, I'd say yeah, because the first year that we had gotten together, he was, I think he might have been a lieutenant at the time. But he was always running calls, and I'm at the house cooking, and I'm like, okay. House fires take.
And he is a volunteer firefighter, right?
Yes, he is actually the chief. But
so that was a pretty slick promotion. You just kept moving up a little faster than the others. I get that.
It's not like that.
I didn't think so.
I definitely
More
earned
dedicated
it.
than
Yeah.
others, yeah.
But he was always leaving, and we were fixing meals and stuff like that, and he's leaving, and I'm waiting, and a good house fire can take anywhere from 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
So I started going and kind of being support and giving water as needed. And and then I was like, well, I really...
I'm gonna go get certified.
Yeah, I was like, I want to do this. This looks kind of cool. So I just started from there.
Anytime, and this comes from the psychology background, but anytime you get something that's intense, that's why people go into politics, that's why people become soldiers. Because people joke with me all the time, because my background is political, and that is, why do you like that stuff? They tell me, and I'll say, because it has a starting point, it has an ending point, and they keep score. And I was a college player, football, basketball. So you look at it and you say, you don't have to find meaning in this consensus flow. And the same thing, you get a call, you deal with the fire, and you get a conclusion to your work, and you get rewarded for that. And I think some people just really enjoy that kind of thing. Before we take a break, you think you're making the same kind of calls, you make a good point that didn't come up in the Medford area, and that is the collateral damage of COVID has been really, really serious. And people are at home, people aren't working, and dysfunctional people are ODing, overdoses are higher. It's just been a real mess. I think at one time, I was talking to General Clark and some others, I think it's 2 or 3 times higher than it was a year or two ago. It's just, I remember in the court system, my wife worked in the court system, and every time she said, it's every week. Somebody's dying or there's a problem.
Yeah.
Let's take a 2-minute break, Chandler. We'll come back and talk about Claxton some more.
Roger Miller is a conservative and lifetime resident of Anderson County who has served as Sessions Judge since 2014. Judge Miller has adjudicated more than 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal, over the past 7 years. Roger is a graduate of Clinton High School, and he volunteers time coaching youth sports and serving as an instructor. A paramedic for 12 years, Roger worked saving lives at the Anderson County EMS, MedFlight 5, and Methodist Medical Center. In 2022, let's re-elect Roger Miller, General Sessions Judge.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
D-E-P-R.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale.
Bipolar?
Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment.
Anxiety. I thought so.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
Ryan Spitzer has been a prosecutor in Anderson County since 2007, prosecuting more than 2,500 cases over the past decade. Ryan has been the Drug Task Force prosecutor for the past 7 years. Ryan donates time working with local nonprofits. A veteran, Ryan spent 6 years serving his country as an Army medic in the National Guard. Ryan is a family man who works hard every day to keep Anderson County families safe. Experience matters.
Welcome back. We're talking to Claxton. Krista is married to the fire chief, and she's the captain, and they're controlling all of the family controls the fires in Claxton. I'm teasing a little bit, but they got a lot of work, 3 kids that live in Claxton. It's a community for you, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about budgets and how you raise money. You don't have chili suppers. You don't stand with boots, because I remember over the years I'd go Clinton Highway and y'all are out in the middle of the roads, and I mean in the middle of the roads with boots. That's gotten a little bit dangerous with people running you over and stuff like that. So how do you raise money?
We just recently started doing Party at the Park, and it's basically just come out and we have everything from blow-up inflatables. We have different games I've bought over the years. We just add them out there.
Which park is this?
It's right next to the community center, the wooden.
Claxton Community Center.
Yes.
Oh, with the one we built. I remember that. We did that with the sawdust and with all of the.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. That's a good one. That was a good one.
But
that got to be controversial last year with all the TVA stuff and everything, and then they tested it and there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I remember we put that in. We used.
But with COVID slowing everything down, when we posted, which we let people know, it's at your own risk. But we had a lot of people come out because their kids had been cooped up for so long. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without a mask. So
it's a good playground too.
Yes, kids love it.
Good park.
It's clean.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
So you're over on that side. Do you cover Bull Run plant, steam plant?
Yes, we do.
You're the only person that covers Bull Run steam plant? That's a pretty big plant.
I believe Oak Ridge is also
it's an industrial
toned.
fire, yeah.
Yes.
There's some bad wrecks on that road.
Oh, yes. TVA had a fire probably, I want to say, 10 or 11 years ago. One of the hoppers caught on fire. That was a little bit before I was there, but talking to them and their stories about it and stuff, but it was like a week-long thing of them having to do it, and so many firefighters just, rotating out with each other. Pizza was being brought out to them. They're sleeping outside, and I mean, it was pretty crazy.
Ben's Mobile Home Park. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
A lot of calls there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. We had there's a lot of, not to pick on the park, but there's a lot of issues. So if you think about this, folks, you go to Bull Run, so you're in Oak Ridge, or you go down Mountain Hill Drive, you turn left over the bridge, you got Bull Run Steam Plant. They cover all the way down to all the way down to Quentin Highway, turn left, and they cover all the way into the city of Quentin, where it borders there, right? Mm-hmm. How far do you go in?
If you're going through South Clinton, it's like right before you hit the Shylock's Pond, I think's the name of it.
Yeah, right there. When you get in the straightaway, you're in the city of Clinton.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got it. So how many homes are we talking about? You said 3,500 or more. Got a lot of building going on with there, a lot of construction. If you turn right and you go out Quentin Highway, you go all the way to the auction, the border of Anderson and Knox.
It stops at a tire shop. I can't remember the name of the tire shop. It's right on the other side of that, and that actually caught fire a couple years ago. But it's right after that at Claxton in Knox County.
You've seen a tire fire. You haven't seen a fire. That's a different experience.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen them in a couple.
That's a lot of heat.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
It's just really, really hot, et cetera, et cetera. So you got 20 people. What are the age ranges on your people? You got any young people?
They have to be 18.
That makes sense.
We didn't do like Medford did the younger
recruit thing, the junior.
Yeah, we were never. It's too much of a liability, and being in the volunteer world, I mean, we only have so much time to do stuff. But 18 to, I think the oldest one's right at 60, maybe.
You know, I guess what I'm saying is I don't see how you generate much money. You go to the park, you pay a little money to go to the day in the park or whatever it costs, $5 or $10, you get that done, and you do some other stuff. You're getting half your budget from the county, and then the 15 or 20 or whatever it is, and then you're getting some extra money at the park. What else are you doing to raise money?
We normally do the spring and the fall letters.
Oh yeah, that's right. Does that work?
COVID has damaged that a little bit, but we still have a strong community, and I believe
very strong.
I believe that they donate what they can, and there's a lot of them. When we go to somebody's house and we're running a call, we don't just stop it at, hey, we did this, you're done. We try to connect with them. We try to learn them. That way, whenever we come across them again, we know who we're dealing with, a little bit more about them, their health, and stuff like that.
Sure.
Try to make that connection with them.
And you, what does your husband do for a living?
He works for Holston Gases.
You told me that earlier before the show. So you got him on, he's driving, you're here, I'm trying to get the family fire thing. That basically, it's a lot of responsibility around raising children and having two people in the house, and it must dominate your life having been, because y'all are managers too. I mean, you're running the show.
I got 3 amazing kids. They are very responsible, very mature. So they've always helped each other out, or if we're in the middle of dinner and we got to run a call.
That tells me the oldest one's a girl.
I have all 3 girls.
Oh, well, that still makes my motto work. I mean,
yes, so they know the fire life. Yeah, so they're used to it. They know the fire life. They know when the tones go off. They know what mom and dad are doing. And now the oldest one is in EMT school with Anderson County.
That's great.
So,
getting a job with Nathan over there, huh?
We hope.
Oh, she'll get it.
She's still in the program, but I got high hopes that she'll get it. But yes, Nathan Sweet has been awesome. He has been backing us every bit of it and helping along. So. How
much do you interface with the ambulance department? Any? Well, they get to this. When you get there as first front, they're coming, right?
Yes. Typically, we take care of everything and get the basis of what's going on, and as soon as they get on scene, we get with the lead paramedic.
Just like a 911 TV show. The same kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
What do you bring to the scene? Does the ambulance ever get there before you guys?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do when you get? Once the ambulance is there, your work is a little more minimized?
Yes and no. I basically go to the lead paramedic and say, hey, what do you need? Our job is also it's beneficial to know what's on the medic units. So there's a lot of times we'll go up, we'll work with them. I help teach the EMR school sometimes. Okay. So I get out there and I learn the trucks just as well because they might need your extra hands. There's sometimes we get CPR in progress and you've got the ambulance driver that's driving, then you have the one in the back and then firefighters helping because we're going to help with compressions or breathing or whatever we got to do.
Wow.
So sometimes you can have all the hands in the world and it's still not enough. So
what's the hardest thing to do in the business, in your business? What is the one call that challenges you the most?
I'd say out of everything I've seen and done, and I've seen some horrible things, I ran the call on the 7-year-old little girl that got hit by the truck last year on Edgemore. It happened on April 7th. That was something that it was the first child I've lost, and it has tore me up to pieces because we couldn't save her. Yeah. And that was the first kid that I've had. I mean, I've had him in wrecks and stuff like that, but never like this. I mean, it was a accident. She was trying to cross, and she got hit.
And what's the one thing, before we go, what's the one type of event? Is traffic or fires more difficult for you to meet? I would think fires would be really tough.
They can be, but I mean, I don't know.
How many trucks do you have? We didn't talk about that.
We have 2 engines, a tanker, a rescue truck, a brush truck, and an air trailer. And then we have another engine that is completely out of service we're actually trying to sell so that we can get the weight off of it. We got 30 seconds. I didn't get a chance to say this, but I really appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Your husband. That's kind of been the family, not hobby, but the family. It's what holds the family together. It's dialogue and everything. And what you guys have done is great. And please help your volunteer fire department. You're from Claxton. See what you can do. What's the phone number, real quick?
865-742-1800.
1800. Mail a check, call, whatever you can do. This has been an important show. Next week, E.T. Stamey's show from July will be on for you all in Clinton and around. Mr. Clinton himself, E.T. Stamey, we're going to re-show the tape.
Roger Miller is a conservative and lifetime resident of Anderson County who has served as Sessions Judge since 2014. Judge Miller has adjudicated more than 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal, over the past 7 years. Roger is a graduate of Clinton High School, and he volunteers time coaching youth sports and serving as an instructor. A paramedic for 12 years, Roger worked saving lives at the Anderson County EMS, MedFlight 5, and Methodist Medical Center. In 2022, let's re-elect Roger Miller, General Sessions Judge.
Brian Spitzer, for Circuit Court Judge, is also sponsoring tonight's program. Brian is a prosecutor and Army medic for 6 years and a lifetime Tennessean. A graduate of Vanderbilt Law School, Brian is dedicated to serving the citizens of Anderson County.
The life of every child is precious. If you care for a child or teenager with a disability and have limited income and resources, they may qualify for monthly cash payments through the Supplemental Security Income Program, or SSI. Call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSIkids to learn more. That's ssa.gov/SSIkids. Message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
This is my husband, Alex Hesse. Alex was about 2 weeks away from coming home.
I was point man in foot patrol and I stopped on the bomb. Lost my legs, my left hand in an explosion.
And he suffered a severe traumatic brain injury.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
There are so many mountains to climb, and we do it together.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories great and small.
To watch Alex take on this mountain, that's what this is all about.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Alex has conquered this mountain. That's something he won't forget.
With the right support, there are no limits.
Look at that smile! You did it!
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.